Welcome back to another podcast, and today we're back to talk about The Bachelorette. Whoop whoop! See, I still did the same thing as I did before. Anyway, so today we're back to talk about the hometowns, or as I'm calling them, the quarantine quinta towns. You were right. We're not going to their homes because of the pandemic. Yep. I can't talk as per usual.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be there.
They brought the families out to the quinta because you know the resort is so big, it's like its own little town, and everybody got their own corners for this extravaganza so that they could have some Broadway style dates where they are doing some like elaborate Broadway set changes, and like one day you're in Venice, not Italy, Venice, and then the next day you're in the fair, and then the next day you're in not in a fair,
New York,
but like
New York.
And then next you're in New York. So, we were all over the United States in this episode without really being all over the United States. So
that's right.
The episode started with Chris Harrison coming in and saying, shit's getting real and we're having hometowns, and by hometowns I mean we're having quarantine quinta towns and your families are coming out here. And at first they made it seem like it was going to be this big thing, but it was actually only maybe a couple of people, like one or two people were just coming out, which is chill. And so all of the guys got very emotional about the families coming out to be there with them. So I thought that was interesting. And we had a red flag from Ben when he started to proceed to explain how he basically cannot process sad emotions to the point of crying, which was kind of weird, and says, I guess, a lot about how he kind of grew up. Was he not like allowed to cry and show human emotions? I'm confused. But when he said that he doesn't cry, or he's never cried, and he doesn't understand like how to cry, that was like, not looking good.
I don't think it has anything to do with his childhood. Otherwise, his sister wouldn't be able to show emotion either. I think it just had to do with his military background.
Well, he
did go into the military when he was 18.
But there's this thing of like, with men in particular, about their being told that they can't show emotions and they can't cry, and it's okay for women to show emotions because, they see women as fragile, but men are supposed to be strong. They're not supposed to cry or be sad or have emotions. So a lot of men end up growing up like not being able to express how they feel because they were conditioned from when they were a child that they should not, express emotion because it makes them look weak. So Ben gives off a lot of those vibes of like never been able to express emotion because it makes him look weak. And so in turn, it makes you not be able to process things in a healthy manner when you become older. So, and you see a lot of it in the episode where every time things kind of get hard, it's like he has this thing in him that he shuts down and he doesn't want to be vulnerable. And that's why he's got those walls. Well, yeah. But, especially in this episode, you see it where he has the thing of freezing up, not being able to speak. It's like he shuts down and he's not able to express emotion and be vulnerable. So we see that a lot.
I think it's because he feels that if he shows any emotions, it shows weakness.
Yeah, so
and that is something that is taught in the military. You cannot show weakness.
Yeah,
so if you show emotion, you're showing weakness. You can't when you're in the military, you can't cry. Because it's like when you're in jail the same way. If you show emotion in jail, they'll eat you alive. If you show emotions in the military, they'll eat you alive. So,
yeah, I know, especially in the past, it used to be like really bad, but I hear now that it's kind of like calmed down.
I don't think it has.
In terms of how they treat people. They're not as like, harsh and aggressive as maybe they used to be in the past, but it's still in a sense that way. Yeah, so it's really weird. Obviously, the whole season is like super weird because we're in a whole different place in the world than we were last year.
Yes.
So, hometowns not being hometowns, everything is like weird and unusual, and all of the guys being together in this part of the experience is very unusual, but also very strange because they're all like sitting there being emotional about their families there, and the guys are just looking at each other like, oh my god, dude, like I feel you, and they're all giving each other hugs and everything. Like, what other group of men would you see acting this way towards each other at this point in time? So it's very they're all like there for each other and stuff, and like it's very unusual, not something you usually see.
I don't know.
In a dynamic with them.
I thought it was kind of cool because I felt like it was more cozy. And I felt like it was more togetherness. Where all the other shows, they have to travel to their hometown. So they're nowhere near each other. They're there. Everybody gets to be there. And this time they got to choose two to three people that were very important to them that they wanted Tayshia to meet.
Well, I think that there was potential to have like maybe 4 or 5 people, but with the way that everything is in the world and everyone's current situations, I'm sure there were like, for example, Ben said like that his parents wouldn't be able to be there because his dad is a doctor and everything, and because of like his job and COVID and all that, they could not come out and be there. Was that Ben that said that, or Brendan? Somebody said that. I'll get into it later, but somebody did say that their parents weren't there because it was Ben. The dad is a doctor.
It was Ben.
COVID and all that. Right.
Yeah, it was Ben. He said his father's a doctor. His parents weren't going to be there. And so his sister, who's very important to him, and a family friend.
Yeah, I was confused about like who the other female that was there, like who she was, but...
family friend.
Her name was like Antonia, and I was like,
Madeline.
Wait. It was a very brief moment where they spoke, and I was like confused for a minute. There were multiple times where I feel like I didn't know who was who at points, but we'll try to figure it out as we go along. The first person up for the... his dad. Yeah, the first person up for the keen to hometown date thing was Brendan. And so he did a little fair. His niece came out, and they had this like interesting little handshake, and they were like in a little fair setup, playing games and all that, because I guess he said this would be like something that he would have done, set up as a hometown date. And so so the niece was involved, and they seemed to be really close, and Tayshia was really enjoying it, and she said it made her see him as like how he could be a really good father, so everything was good there. They had this little handshake thing that they did. And I think that's where you were saying that like the niece made you think of 7 Rings or something like that, because of the dance or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, this whole thing, like you said, it could have been a whole musical. And I think that little scene right there would have been 7 Rings.
And turning this episode into a musical. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun. Yeah, because, you know, she got all the prizes from all the games. He was like, what game you want to play? You want it? You got it.
I know, right?
And
you got it.
On Brendan's hometown, he had his brother and sister-in-law who were there. And my only thing was, I was like, they both seem cool. His brother seems cool. He seems very much like he acts like a life coach for Brendan. Like he's his mentor almost. Yes. He has this role where it's like, I feel like he goes to him for everything, and he's constantly giving him like advice and talks to him like he's some kind of like a guru, like or something. Yeah, like a life coach.
Yeah.
That's what he gave me life coach vibes.
Yep.
He looks spiritual.
That's pretty cool, though, to have someone that you can actually go and talk to, and that person can just sit there, even though they're your family, but they can sit there without judgment and give you sound advice. I mean, that's a special person right there.
Yeah, that's valuable.
That can separate family and just be neutral and give that sound advice that they need.
Yeah, so, I really liked his brother. He gave me chill vibes, like somebody who would be fun to be around.
And someone that you can go to and know that you can ask that advice, and know that he's going to give you neutral sound advice that's just going to be best for you, or, you know, or give you choices. And I also felt like I can trust him. I can like say anything to him, and I know he's not going to go past that room that we were just
he doesn't look like he would go around like talking.
Like if he's some type of therapist or something.
Yeah, but he looks pretty. I wonder what he does for a living.
I wonder if he is probably
maybe he does something for
like, I know, right?
Where he's
like coach or counselor or
I could see him being something that is like helping people.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah.
And I could see myself going to him. I was like, dang, I would like to have somebody like that.
Yeah, he seemed cool. His brother and sister-in-law did not have anything bad to say, and Tayshia seemed to be pretty satisfied, feeling good after she met them. And she made a comment that she says she feels like Brendan could be endgame and that he could be her husband at the end of everything. But they didn't say anything about like they were falling in love with each other or anything.
No, she didn't.
And none of these hometown dates did they show them expressing to each other that they were falling in love, except that obviously we know that in the last episode, Zach and Tayshia had previously expressed to each other they were falling in love. They were the only ones who have like taking it to that level yet. So I thought that was interesting, because usually hometowns, they will, after the family is when they feel
express their feelings.
Yeah, good enough to like open up for fantasy suites. So That was
But I
interesting.
mean, Tayshia did say, I am falling for Brandon.
Yeah, but she didn't say it like to him, and he didn't say it to her. So
I think it's because Tayshia's kind of like me in that sense. We wait for the guy to tell us. I don't know. Because I noticed that about her. The guys, when they tell her how they feel, is when she then says, well, yeah, I feel the same way too.
Well, if you notice, she's a lot of her progression in the relationships is she's very give and take, like, you know, give a little bit, take a little bit, give a little bit, take a little bit. So before she's going to give that little bit, she's got to take a little bit first. And, you know, then she feels comfortable to do the next step. I noticed that a lot in like her dynamics with people is that she needs validation a lot. Exactly. And she doesn't feel comfortable to say anything until she feels she's been validated to say that statement. So
like me, I could be in love with a person, and if that person doesn't show any kind of validation or tell me that they're in the same place I am, I will never say.
Yeah, you have to feel comfortable enough to say it, because it's like, you know, you don't want to go out there and then not have the cushion that you think, like not be met there, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really have any other notes for their particular date. I do feel like the relationship feels different to me than I felt when they had their very first date. I felt like there was more there than I feel like there is now, if that's kind of weird to say.
Also, when it was
something about Brendan seems off to me. It's like he's not really there. Yeah, and I don't know if he's scared all the time or what, or he feels like, I think in the beginning he was like, oh, everything's great and we're vibing and everything, and now that things are moving along and we're getting
serious now.
Closer, yeah, things are getting serious. We're moving close to the end, and I feel like he's scared.
Yep.
And he's ready. Like, he's in like panic mode. He's not ready.
He is not ready to jump into this relationship.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I think to me, this was perfect for Brendan. I think he did this to try to get out of that divorce that he had, to try to begin his new life, being able to date. And I think this was something that he did. I don't think he expected it to get this far, this fast. I thought he would have probably thought, I'll be one of the guys that go home. But then Tayshia came. And then things got a little bit serious. And she's making him feel things that are scaring him, because he felt that way for the person he divorced. So he's scared that if he gives his all, or if he moves into that next level, which I don't think he's there yet, it's terrifying him.
No, I don't think he's there. I don't think he's in love.
Terrifying him. He's terrified. You can see it.
Yeah, every time I look at him, I'm like, he looks like he's about to explode or something.
He's like he's about to say,
he looks
Tayshia,
like
I can't do this.
Right? That I feel like I'm expecting it at every turn. I'm like, okay, when is Brendan gonna knock out? Because, you know, he's not
even
there.
When well, we'll get to that. I'll tell you then.
I don't know. Something shifted in him, and I feel like it happened. Like, they had their one-on-one date, and then everything was fine for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, when you got down to like 6 guys, it was like something changed.
Yeah.
And I don't feel it with him.
Yeah. I think he was cool with it because she's a beautiful woman. He was having this nice time with her. He's attracted to her. But when it was getting closer and he wasn't being sent home, he's like, oh crap, she's really feeling it.
Yeah.
She's really feeling it.
I think Brendan and Zach have potential to hurt her. And I feel like those are the ones that she's kind of more drawn to. I mean, obviously, I guess I was wrong about the Ben situation, but not really. I'll explain why later. Yeah. Next up was Zach. So we know, like I said, they already both said previously before that they were falling in love with each other, which is probably why he's the person that she said she feels like the most comfortable in the relationship right now, because she's already gotten the validation from him that he's falling in love with her. So she feels like, you know, she's gotten everything she needs. She feels safe. She feels comfortable. And she had his little hometown thing, which was super Broadway feeling with all the little sets of like New York, because he lives in New York. And apparently Tayshia said that she would consider moving to New York, or she's thought about moving to New York.
Yes.
Why, Tayshia? I'm just kidding. You can move to New York if you want. So here we get to the controversial part of the episode for you, where they had a little bagel stop, and she got a blueberry bagel, and Zach said he doesn't know if he can trust a girl who eats blueberries on their bagel.
She did not like that at all. I didn't like that at all. I would have been like, you need to go home.
This as a personal attack.
Yes. Because I should, a person should be able to put whatever they want on their bagel. Now, mind you, if it's something that you're not into, I could definitely be like, oh, I never thought of doing that. Like, you like that? And she's like, well, yeah. Then I would say, all right, I'll either try it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't tell the other person, like, I can't trust you for eating that.
Well, I mean, obviously he was like joking.
She could have ate frog legs in front of my face for all I care. I don't care. I mean, I either try it and then say don't like it, or,
I mean, clearly he was joking about the trust or whatever.
I don't know.
But
she didn't like it. She was like, I did not like that, and I will change that later.
I have this weird thing with Zach, and like when you said in the last podcast, I don't know if it was the one we did yesterday, that you said Zach is hiding something or whatever, like you don't feel like he's got everything out on the table.
Nope.
And when you said that, I don't know if it changed the way I was like interpreting things that he was saying and stuff, but I feel like sometimes he puts these little like inklings of things out there, but he
that will
always
get worse
project.
Later.
But no, it's like, I don't know how to explain this. So he says like little things here and there that are like joking, and they always say there's a little bit of truth behind a joke.
Yes.
And so he says these things where it's always like he does this little projection of that someone else onto someone else as a joke. Yeah. And I feel like it's just slightly telling in about him.
Yes.
Is he always trying to project on other people that maybe he can't trust them because there's something in himself that they can't? I don't know. I, had a stretch to do that, reach. Just saying.
I don't know. I just feel like there's something more to him than what he's saying.
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't know. Like,
I have this thing about people's eyes. People's eyes are a big telling point for me. I feel like I can always read people and kind of like understand and see how they think based off of their eyes. They say the eyes are the window to the soul.
Right.
And I feel like people can't hide in their eyes the way that they really feel inside, no matter how good of an actor they think they are. There's something in the eyes that always gives a person away. I don't know why or what it is. Maybe there's some kind of science behind it. I mean, they say
you can't hide your eyes.
That scientifically your pupils get smaller when you look at somebody you're attracted to and stuff like that. So, maybe there's more things behind, how people's eyes look.
I don't know.
That you can read people.
I don't know, but the eyes never lie.
Yeah, like Brendan. I can always tell that Brendan's freaking out and scared and not ready because of his eyes. They give it away.
They look like they're dilated. Like he's trapped in the dark somewhere, and he's like, "Oh, I can't see. I can't see." Every time he gets that rose, and it moves on to the next stage, and it gets closer and closer to meeting family and getting down to that proposal, his pupils keep dilating more and more and more. Like he's locked up somewhere in a dark place, and he can't see, and he's trying to see. Poor Brendan.
Yeah, and then Zach has this thing in his eyes where he's like, "Don't look at me too closely, or you'll see what's inside."
I feel like when she's staring in his eyes and he's staring at her, I feel like behind his eyes he's saying, "I hope she's not seeing the truth." Like, I hope she's not really looking in there, seeing the truth, and she just sees that I like her.
I wonder if there's something that he's holding back and hiding because he doesn't want her to think less of him.
Well, let's go to where he meets his family, and this is another little flag.
Oh wait, before we get to the family, I had to comment on this real quick. He said that he couldn't take her to New York. I quotation marks around New York because they weren't really in New York.
Right.
That he had to give her a slice of true New York pizza. And I just want to say, really? But is it really? Is it really? Because you're not in New York.
Nope, you're not in New York.
How can you have it? Right? That's what I was thinking. Did somebody go to New York, get a pizza, and fly it out to you?
What? Unless his family member brought it in and it stood there for 2 weeks.
It wouldn't be very good. It wouldn't taste very good.
Waiting for him, to have this date. Anyway, it's just a metaphor, true pizza.
I know.
Metaphor.
I just had
unless
to say
they had it come in for them. I don't know.
I just had to make that comment really quick.
There's no true New York pizza unless you're actually in New York in one of those little pizzas that are in what they would call a hole in the wall pizza place.
Yeah.
Then you get a true New York pizza.
Do you remember that I don't know if we were talking about something or looking at something, and we had a conversation that was led off of it about why is it that up north they only have like pizza places and Chinese food or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like impossible to find anything but pizza and Chinese food.
And Chinese food.
Weird.
Everywhere you go is like every corner, even like at schools, you know, you go to a public school, was right across the street. In one corner is a little corner store, and in the other corner it is a Chinese store
and pizza.
And and in other neighborhoods it'll be either pizza and a little corner store. And only people from up north would know what a corner store is. But you have a corner store and you have either Chinese or Italian.
Yeah, because we don't have corner stores in Florida because down south everything is too far away.
They got corner gas stations.
You can only have a corner store in a city. Or some people,
or like a Lotto store or something like that, which is like a little convenience store. That's their little corner store.
Well,
and it's not really in the corner.
If you live in New York and you live in like an apartment because, you know,
if you live in New York, you just go downstairs.
I know, I was going to say.
There's a bodega.
Right? They go downstairs
you go down,
like
you go down to that bodega.
Food and coffee.
You're going to have cooked food, breads, you know.
A CVS pharmacy. I don't know.
A pharmacy.
A Walmart. you know, you get it all right there.
See, in New York, you go right down. You can ride the elevator if it works that day, or you can walk down the steps and boom, you're in a bodega.
Yep.
In Jersey, you walk up the street, boom, you're in a corner store. So,
yeah, because it's not like as city as New York.
No,
New York is
it's
like,
a little more suburb.
New York is on its own level, you know?
Yep.
We build up, not out. Anyways, so his family.
To her meeting the family. So they get to go in and meet the family is his dad, his mom, and his brother. Right? Yeah, his dad, his mom, his brother. His brother, who was the first one to pull Tayshia to the side.
Oh shoot! Yeah,
and,
it was
immediately.
He's like, the one.
He gave. I was like, this is exactly how Zach is gonna be with her. He immediately put her on the spot, and he was like, "What did he ask? Oh my gosh, I forgot what he asked.
Oh yeah,
he said something about where are you in a relationship with the other guys."
Oh shoot, that was his brother, wasn't it?
That was his brother.
I kept putting that it was Zach's dad. I thought it was his dad for some reason. No. And then I saw the other guy. I was like, no, the other guy is way older. That has to be the dad. Oh my gosh. I was like, is that his dad?
Yeah, it was his mom, his dad, and his brother.
I put dad like so many times. Then I was like, no, that can't be right. And then no, this is the problem. I wrote him as his dad, and I put his dad as his grandfather.
Oh my gosh, he's
not
that old. My gosh,
failure.
And his brother wasn't that old to be his dad.
He did immediately put her on the spot, but yes, also when he came in the house, do you not see how sweaty everybody is? I'm disgusted.
Seriously, do you see like their ACs don't work?
I saw Zach's mom having to constantly wipe her sweaty hands on her dress because it's so hot. ABC, how are you going to make them come out here, force them into this hellhole, have them quarantine for 2 weeks and stick things up their nose, and you can't give them AC?
Yeah, like these people are inside the house. Unless they were outside before they came in.
This is what I think. I think that possibly the AC is lower because when AC is running for filming purposes, AC makes a lot of noise. Oh. So a lot of times when people are recording, they will turn off the AC temporarily to not have the sound of the AC ruining.
That is too hot. I would die.
Audio.
I would be like, I'm sorry, we're cutting because you need to turn on the AC. I can't breathe.
Yeah, I would be like, and really? But I wonder if I keep wondering, is that what's going on? Is that why everyone keeps sweating inside? Are they turning off the AC on these people? Come on.
I don't know, but
imagine the cameramen though.
I know.
They're carrying these big ass cameras and they can't have AC. Anyways.
Anyway.
Back to the brother.
So
not the dad.
He asked her about her feelings with Zach. and her other relationships with the guys.
Yeah, Zach.
So she's like, we're in a good place. You know, we declared each other that we are falling in love with each other and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, that is not the question I asked. Like, you did not answer my question.
Oh, yeah, he said you didn't answer the question.
I was like, okay, Mr. Politics.
That's exactly what I thought.
I was like, I didn't know she was the president answering questions.
He was not letting Tayshia have her
seriously
presidential moment.
And did you look at her face? Like,
yeah, she didn't like that.
He was making her feel very uncomfortable.
Well, she handled the conversation well, and I like how she said, you know, she doesn't like talking about other relationships.
Exactly. She's
stuff.
like, it's very awkward if we talk about those relationships.
And she even said, you know, Zach and I don't discuss the other relationships because it's not relevant, you know.
And like she said, I don't talk about my other relationship with any of the guys. Like, that's awkward. That's not something you talk about.
That's
because
disrespectful.
It's none of their business, number one, what you have with each person. Number two, he made her feel very uncomfortable. And number three, after all was said and done, he had the nerve to say, well, she should have been able to talk about that because you should be able to talk about it to be moving on to, you know, next levels of relationship. No, this is not your exes. This is a group of guys. They're candidates. They're all her boyfriend at this point, and they're all working towards who's going to have the best relationship with her.
And besides, she's entitled to have her privacy in the other relationships.
They're supposed to have their privacy.
I know in normal life, people don't date multiple people at once.
Right.
And The Bachelor, they're going on 20 years of this freaking show. You know how it works. Your mom is a super fan. She's watched the show. She knows how it works. She should have briefed you on it. But she does not owe anybody else any answers on what's happened in the other relationships. They're all there with the understanding she's dating other men, and they are meant to be their own private personal relationship. She doesn't have to tell him anything if she doesn't want to.
To me,
the guys are not entitled to answers from her because they all agree to it.
Exactly.
And she's not in, well, I guess what would she be asking them? But just in my opinion, they're not entitled to get information about other relationships from her.
To me, whether you're the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, they're not entitled to be asking you questions about your relationship with the other people there.
Same thing with the women. You
have to have your own relationship with that person. And you only talk about your relationship with that person. And
it's
for
a
him
sign
to
of insecurity.
And for him to say that to Tayshia and put her on the spot like that, I'm glad she answered the way that she answered, which that was so professional and polite and I don't know.
Professional.
She answered professionally and
cordially.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think he doesn't like her. I don't think he liked her from the moment she walked in.
And for what? She didn't do nothing to that man.
And I saw it because of how he was looking at her when he was talking to her, how he put her on the spot.
Yeah, he was very standoffish.
And you can tell she was not comfortable with him at all.
I think what bothered me more about it is that after he made the comment, and you could clearly see that she was uncomfortable when he was like, "You didn't answer the question," and he did this smirk that really irritated me. Like it gave him joy in that moment to make her uncomfortable. That's what bothered me more so than even like the fact that he asked the question.
A man like okay, that, move on. Or a person like that tells me that they're very capable of being an emotional abuser. Very capable of abusing someone emotionally and trying to make them think they're in the wrong. He is, I don't know, when he was talking to her, all I thought was, you're a manipulator. And I was like, Tayshia, walk away.
Well, she can't just walk out and be like, you know what?
I would have.
I don't want to have this conversation.
I would have been like, I feel like I am very uncomfortable right now. And when I'm uncomfortable, I remove myself from that uncomfortableness. So excuse me, but I have to leave.
Yeah, but it's like their first meeting, and out of respect for Zach,
that's the first meeting. Imagine the second and the third.
Imagine when you get more comfortable. Ugh, I don't know.
See, this is the thing. If she chooses Zach, and his. Now I know that you're marrying the family. I understand that you do have to, but his family is never going to be satisfied with anyone who's with Zach. Period. And it's simply because Zach had that problem. And a lot of times they're afraid that he might fall back into that if he's in the wrong relationship.
You cannot put somebody's personal life choices onto another person, project it onto somebody else as if it is their responsibility.
But that's how I feel like this family is going to be.
I hope not, but we don't. Well, I hope not for her sake if she ends up picking him.
The father.
I said, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I wrote Tayshia and Dad's and Zach. I can't talk. I wrote Tayshia and Zach's dad talk. Zach's dad wants to know where they're at compared to other guys. Tayshia didn't answer the question. Zach's dad hates politicians. And then I was like confused because then I saw an even older man come out, and then I was like, Tayshia then talks to Zach, and I was like, grandfather.
No, that was his dad.
Well, okay, so his dad wasn't rude. He was very nice. He was very nice. He seemed to mostly just care about Zach's happiness, and he was just expressed how happy he is to see that Zach is so happy and smiling, and this is the happiest he's seen him in a very long time. And then they show a conversation that Zach has with his mom where he expresses to her how important she is to him and how he would not be alive today if not for her strength. So they have this very emotional moment.
So I love that he had that conversation with his mom. What gave me a little bit of red flag was when he was talking about how he feels about Tayshia, and his mom proceeded to say, you've said that you never wanted to be in love, you didn't want to have a family, and he cut her off and was like, I lied. And I felt like, did he cut her off because she was going deeper in other stuff that he didn't want revealed?
Perhaps.
Because he really cut her off and said, I lied. I do want to get married. I do want to have kids. And then she just looked at him and put her head up like, well, I'm happy to hear that. I felt like that conversation could have gone another way if he didn't cut her off.
Maybe she's going to say, you've expressed in the past that, you didn't ever want to get married or have kids or have a family. As a matter of fact, you didn't even want to have a girlfriend. As a matter of fact, you have not been monogamous in years.
I felt like
it could have went down there.
Yeah, I
thought you were into polyamory. It's like, we don't want that on the air, okay?
Yeah. I felt like that whole conversation would have went another way and we would have found out stuff
about Zach that he doesn't want us
and
to know.
And he cut her off because he knows that his mom is very truthful and very honest and doesn't hide anything and just says what she has to say. And he cut her.
Do you think that's why he love bombed her?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Let's not go there.
Yes.
With the love bombing.
I saw a big red flag right there. A big red flag. I was like, why is he cutting his mom
that's
from
like manipulative.
Talking?
That's like if that's really what it is, it's extremely manipulative.
Brother?
Well, I can't base Zach off of how his brother acts.
I can.
However, you can't base somebody off of how another person acts. I can only base Zach off of how Zach acts.
With that conversation he had with his mother,
he does these things where he did the thing about that he cheated in the past and stuff. And, I said I have my own opinion of that and I can't say if it's true or not because, I don't know his life. I wasn't there when he was, living his life and whatever happened. I think there was a real cheating story and that he told the fake, maybe it wasn't fake and maybe it happened. There's probably multiple instances in his life where maybe he wasn't faithful.
I think he looked for that story from the past.
And he pulled the story out and then he turned it around to be like this funny thing. Yes. And they were like, don't question me or make me feel like whatever. And then now, the conversation with his mom and maybe she was going to reveal some information that maybe he didn't necessarily want her to say. And then to get her off course from her, because at first she was very, kind of skeptical that he would even be at this level with Tayshia. Exactly. And so, him cutting her off and then saying I lied and then love bombing her and saying all these things to make her probably forget why she was concerned in the first place. These are slightly all manipulative things.
Yes. Forget. And of course, he spoke to her before she spoke to Tayshia.
Well, we don't know how that happened because we don't necessarily, I didn't even show them showing Tayshia talking to his mom. They didn't show them talking at all.
No, they didn't.
So the thing is, they probably did talk and they just never showed it. So we don't really know who spoke to her first.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was her brother who spoke to her first. I don't know. She really got to talk to his mom at all. And I think that was a move that they made.
Well, his mom is a Chris Harrison lover.
Yes, she is.
She's a Bachelor fanatic.
And he just showed up Well, that was
That's
the
funny.
end.
Oh yeah, that was the end of the episode. But yeah, that was funny.
So moving on.
No. I'm sorry. They did talk. Tayshia did talk to his mom because I remember they had a conversation, and the thing I noted was that it was very brief. There wasn't
That's
a lot
probably why we
said.
couldn't remember.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot said other than that they looked like they were happy and he looked like he was happy. And, she said that, she hopes for the best outcome.
Right.
And then she had Tayshia toast to love. And they did this little toast and then they drank. And Tayshia looked like she was like, oh my God, I didn't know there was going to be a toast. All I have is some water. Right? And she like toasted her water. It looked like it was water at least. Yeah.
How I walked away with the whole thing. I think when he cut her off and he started like love bombing her, I think that family knows each other so well that she knew, okay, he doesn't want me to talk about his past. So let me not say anything to Tayshia or bring up any,
He wanted to love her up.
We know our kids. And we know when our kids start saying, it's like, he doesn't want me to say these things. So I'm not going to say them. It's not in my place, whatever, And then they moved on. I felt a lot of little red flags from his brother, a little bit from him when he was having his conversation with his mother. And I feel like she wants to know more. His mom won't hold back. If she asks,
probably not.
She's probably like me. If you don't want to know, don't ask.
Well,
but if you ask, I'm going to tell you.
Well, that's good, at least for her. At least she has one person, that she'll be able to go to and get some answers from if needed. Yeah. Other than that, they seemed to think the hometown went amazing. And I noted that they gave a very performative kiss on the way out in front of the family. I don't know why it was necessary, but it was.
I don't either. That was him.
And I feel that Tayshia is in love with Zach. I think she is
too. But here's the thing. I feel like something inside of her is telling her something's off.
Here's my thing. When she walked away from him after they said goodnight, Zach, when she was walking away, I saw in his eyes something that I did not like, something shifty. Yeah. And that was when I was like, oh, he's hiding something for sure. There's something wrong here.
I am telling you.
I saw it in his eyes.
And she feels it. I feel like something inside of her is saying that something is off, but because she's probably always being told that she's too judgmental and she needs to be a little more trusting. And I think that she's pushing it down to get to know the person more because I think she's good at reading people.
And she technically hasn't had a reason yet to, not trust him yet.
I don't know. Something's off. And I still say he's hiding something and I'm not going to change. And if they do make it where he does propose to her, that relationship is not going to last.
Yeah, I will agree.
Because she's going to really know who Zach is.
Yeah, I will agree with you that I think something is off.
Yeah.
The next hometown was Ivan. Tayshia says there's nothing not to love about Ivan. Their hometown was in one of the rooms, I guess, in one of the suites.
Yeah,
it has a kitchen. Suite. And they were making a meal together, which he said was a family tradition. What was the meal? I don't know.
It was ribs. It was like barbecue.
They were these like burrito thing looking, like wraps.
They looked like pieces of ribs that she dipped in, and she was like,
no, they were like this little burrito thing.
Like, are they barbecuing? What the hell?
Tayshia killed the food in a bad way, I guess, because he was like, oh no.
It wasn't bad.
She was like, oh, it's good. It's bad, isn't it? He's like, oh, it's not. I've had worse.
I was like, oh my God.
Ivan expressed that his dad has had a lot of health struggles. Mm-hmm. And Tayshia is actually only the second woman he's ever brought home to his parents.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I was like, are you still a virgin? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that is intrusive.
I know. I'm just saying.
Ivan expresses throughout the whole thing how he's very sad that his brother isn't there. So, he's really like hyping us up to see his brother. I didn't expect his brother to be there, but.
Well, he wasn't expecting his father to be there.
He was there. Well, his mother and father were there.
He said, I hope that my dad is here. But because of his illness and with COVID and everything going on, I can understand if he's not. So what is it? They didn't have any kind of contact. They really didn't know if their family was coming in or not. Like,
oh, probably not. Yeah,
Probably.
they said they hadn't been in contact, so they didn't know until like they
Yeah.
met them, and then that was them talking again for the first time since they went into the little bubble of La Quinta, into that whole town, city, or whatever.
I didn't know he was half Philippine. That's awesome.
Well, I swear to you, that meal looked like it was Filipino.
It was. Didn't you hear when he took her in? He said, "Welcome to my abode."
I was writing notes and I didn't. And I think I missed it.
He was like, "I just want to show you what I like to do on my spare time. I love cooking." And he's like, "I love cooking so much that I am friends with one of the most famous Philippine chefs." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, really? Like, wow." And he's like, "Yeah." And I got a video of him. So he turns on the video, and lo and behold, is his niece, who is Philippine.
Little one.
And she was doing her recipe. And I was like, "Aw, that is so cute." And then they cooked and they danced and they had a great time.
And then they met the family.
Yes.
Well, she met his family. He's met his family before. He grew up with them. Yeah. So right off the bat, Ivan's mother pretty much almost immediately wants to talk to Tayshia, pulls her aside. It's very clear. It was very clear that his mother is extremely invested in his life. She spoke of Ivan like a parent who speaks of a kid who can do no wrong. Yes. And how she's very skeptical of the whole scenario. And then we hear from Ivan's dad. He talks to Tayshia and asks her, what did she learn from her previous marriage or going through her divorce? And Tayshia kind of said that pretty much going through the whole scenario, she just realized it wasn't meant to be. God wanted her to learn some things. And then Ivan's dad said the key word was that she was young. And he's also been previously divorced, so he knows what that was like. And he said he spent a long time before he chose to get married again, and that he hopes that, you know, Tayshia does the same thing as far as, you know, taking the time and, you know, proper consideration before going into another marriage. Right. To make sure that it's something that will be long lasting.
Yeah, I actually liked his conversation with her. It was, he shared his experience. He asked her what she got out of the divorce, and I like that because he wanted to see where her head was at.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ivan is very special to them. More special. I feel like he's like king of the house. I don't know. He's a spoiled little boy. I feel like he was a spoiled little boy. But they wanted to know where her head was at because she's way more experienced than their Ivan. Ivan only had one other girlfriend who knows how many girlfriends he's had, but to bring home, she was the second one. Mm-hmm. So that means that he really respects his mother and he respects his parents when he's going to bring someone home to them, which I think is really cool. So that being said, for them, he is not at the same level as her. So that's the concerns of the mom. Because it's like, my younger boy is dating an older woman, even though they're the same age or whatever mentality, she's older.
I think that, what did it say? Ivan's 28 and she is 35.
Oh, so she is older. That's why.
Minute. Or he's 25 and she's 30.
I know she was 25 when she was married.
No, she's 30. She turned 30. So he's 25. There's only 5-year age difference. It's really not that big of a deal.
But it is a big deal because she's already been married. She's already been divorced. He's bringing second girlfriend home. Mm. He's at that level. Second girlfriend.
Same difference.
Not even a proposal in the first girlfriend. Hasn't had a proposal. So this is going to be his first.
I don't think that you need to go through a proposal or go through a divorce to be at a certain place with somebody.
No, you don't. But I'm just saying those are the concerns of the parents. And I can understand, especially mom's concern. That's my little boy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she definitely.
In her mind, she thought, well, hopefully this is going to be someone who's at your level, someone who hasn't had these experiences, and you're both sharing it for the first time. You know? So
she definitely gives off vibes of Mama Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Will do anything to protect her cub.
That's right. That's right.
the dad ultimately at the end of the conversation said that he thinks Ivan and Tayshia are a good match and that he was impressed with her. He said he was impressed with her like 3 times.
Yes.
Ivan's mom. Oh, this was a no I meant. I said Ivan's mom is how all parents should think towards their children. It doesn't matter how you feel. It matters how Ivan feels. And as long as he's happy, she's happy. So I like how she said that, because she was like asking her like what she thinks and everything. And the mom was like, well, it really doesn't matter what I think.
Exactly.
I mean, I can have my opinions and everything, but at the end of the day, what matters is how Ivan feels. And, you know,
that's right.
However he feels is what matters. And, you know, I just support him as long as he's happy.
That's how I am. I can have my opinions of the other person as much as I want to have my opinions. But if I see my child happy and glowing and being taken care of, and, you know, you can see the happiness and the love, then everything else is just out the window. Doesn't matter about anything else.
True.
People have won my friendship and me because of my kids, because of how they treated my kids. So I could have all the opinions all day, but how I see them treating my kids, that's what matters.
Oh yeah, the first guy, Brendan's, was it Brendan? Brendan was the first date, right?
Yes.
Brendan. Yeah, Brendan's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, why did I just have a brain fart? Brendan's brother gave off the same vibes because, like, you know, his daughter got to hang out with her during the day. So she came back and, you know, said all the deets. And he was like, oh, my daughter likes her. So, you know, she must be good.
Yes. Yes. And
he gave off those vibes. He was like, well, you were nice to my daughter. She had a great time with you. She speaks highly of you. So you must be a good one.
Exactly. Because, you know, children are the best people reader.
Now, if his daughter would have came back and been like, I don't know about her, daddy, she's like kind of weird, then he would probably look at her sideways.
Children are the best people reader. That's why I always tell the parents, pay attention to your children when they're around adults, because they're going to tell you they're great at reading people.
Yeah,
they are. If my child looks uncomfortable and every time that person tries to talk to them and they're like, no, stay away. You stay away from my kid.
Squirt, run.
Stay away from my kids. Stay away from me. I don't need you to come here. That's me. So I always listen to my kids.
At the end of the night, we got a surprise. Ivan's brother was there, the person that we've been hearing about all the time. He showed up, and I was not expecting it in more ways than one. Him and his brother seem like night and day.
Who are you? Well, I know his brother is like preppy boy.
His brother came from another planet.
And then his little brother's like, dude, yo, what's up? I'm like, whoa. Were they raised together?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, night and day.
Were they raised together?
Night and day.
Night and day. But his brother has a good heart.
Yeah. He looks like he'd been through a lot.
And the reason that Ivan really wanted to meet her is because his brother apparently never fails on how he feels about people.
Yeah, he says he's a really good judge of character. Mm-hmm. So it was very nice of him to have a seal of approval from his brother on Tayshia.
Yes.
Well, I could kind of see it. Like when he was first talking to Tayshia, he was very like, what's the word? He was very, I guess skeptical is the word. He was very skeptical about it. And then once, you know, she started talking about him and everything, and then he kind of got a feel for like her vibe and everything. Yeah. He like started like opening up and being more, you know.
Yeah,
he smiled, and then he was like opening up more and like talking back and forth with her, and then he even joked with her a little bit. Yeah. So I was like, oh, so he you know, they were vibed. They vibed.
He goes off of people's energy, and her energy felt good. Like he felt comfortable when he started talking to her. So her energy was really positive energy, a good energy, and he liked it. He vibed off of her energy.
I want him to read my energy.
I know, right? What I found funny was when she was like, oh, I like him. He's husband material. He's like, well, what makes you, why do you say he's husband material? What are the qualities that you see in him that make him husband material?
Yeah, he asked good questions.
Loyal. He's loyal. I feel comfortable around him. He's dependable. And I'm thinking, is she explaining a doggy?
Oh, yeah,
a dog,
like the loyalty.
loyal, dependable. Mm-hmm. Okay, those are good qualities to have in a person. And then she's like, and he looks like he will be a great dad because of the way he is with his niece. And that's when he was like, well, he practically raised my niece.
Yeah.
My daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter looks up to him like a dad. Like he's a dad and not an uncle. So yeah, he is going to be a great dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he says that.
Yeah.
Because not all brothers will say that.
Yeah. I think he asked both Ivan and Tayshia good questions.
Yes, he did.
But like he listened to what they said, and then he asked questions based off of stuff that like how they said things.
Yeah.
Applying it to their relationship. So
I feel like he grew up in an educated environment, and somewhere down the line he got mixed up with the wrong crowd and then just started feeding off their vibes and had to learn the hard way.
He was speaking, the way he was speaking educated when he was talking to them.
Thug.
Really?
Yeah, he was. He was like, I was like, oh my God.
Well, then I say yo and stuff like that. Does that make me?
No. See, I can be like, yo, what's up and all of that. But then there's like different places, different time, different energies of speaking certain ways. There's a way you speak professional, and then there's a way to speak thuggish, and then, you know.
Really? Thuggish?
You gotta like you gotta feel the vibe.
Thug.
You gotta feel the vibe and then go with it. If he speaks educated like his brother, then when everybody's speaking educated, you speak educated with everybody.
Really? When everybody speaks educated, you speak educated with everybody.
Exactly.
Or you can just talk how you talk.
Or you can just talk the talk and walk the walk.
Just talk the way you talk, because everybody talks how they talk.
Yeah, his brother looked like he learned hard lessons the hard way. But he looks like his head is in the right place now. So that's good. Because he thought he lost his brother. To Ivan, that's why he is the way he is with his brother. Don't you remember the conversation he had with Tayshia?
Yes.
Where he felt responsible for his brother going the wrong way. And ending up in
because
jail,
he's the big brother.
Because he's the big brother. Right. He felt like when he moved away, he felt
like he didn't guide him right.
He wasn't there to guide him, and he always felt guilty of that. So, I mean, his brother learned lessons the hard way. So hopefully he's not in that lifestyle anymore.
The last but not least was Ben. Ben did his hometown date, and he was taking Tayshia to Venice Beach.
Pacific side.
Not Italy. Venice. Not to be confused with Venice and Italy, but Venice Beach in California. They went rollerblading because, you know,
that's what you do on the boardwalk.
Right? I guess. This whole episode was fake it till you make it. And as I'm watching them, I was just like, I can't deal with the heat. I can't deal with how hot and sweaty you guys look in the heat.
Seriously.
I keep getting hot just looking at them. And then they did like this little boardwalk thing. They put on some hats. It was all right. And then he took her to the beach. I mean the beach. And they sat down. And then Tayshia said Benjamin. And every time she says Benjamin, I just think Button. Benjamin Button.
I know, right?
Every time she says Benjamin, I'm like Button.
Why does
Benjamin
she just call him Ben?
I don't know. She does that. Like when she is talking to people, instead of saying their shortened names, she'll just randomly be like, oh my God. And then she'll say their full name. And then she'll be like, Benjamin. You know, like JPJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll be like, oh my God.
JPJ.
And so they talk about who she's going to get to meet. And oh yes, that's when I noted that Ben's dad was a doctor.
Yes.
So after that, after their little fake beach moment, they went to meet the family. And I guess Ben's sister was the first one to talk to Tayshia. She vouches for Ben to say that he isn't hiding or lying about anything, and that he just has guards up from previous experiences, I guess. Who was it?
That was Madeline, the friend. She was the first one to pull Tayshia aside. The other person was
Antonia. So who is Antonia?
Antonia's his sister. Madeline is
I don't know anybody, man.
Madeline is the family friend who they got to meet each other. Very good looking woman for being a family friend. And
really?
No, because I'm like, she's a family friend. Like, you know, and Tayshia's all cool about it. Like, she's
Something
hot.
feels wrong
It's
about
like,
this.
It does.
No, something feels wrong about what you're saying. I feel like that's the sister.
This is
the second, the Antonia don't look anything like Ben. That is not his sister. The first girl was his sister. She looks like him.
Trust me that his sister was the one that was sitting outside with him, and she's like, where are you at? Like, in the relation, and she said, do you love her? And he was like, I can't say that.
That was Antonia.
That's his sister.
Antonia is not his sister. That's the family friend.
Let's stop. We're gonna cut this part out.
We had to take a brief break so that I could clarify who Madeleine and Antonia are. Madeleine is Ben's sister. Antonia is the family friend who is also a top star chef, apparently, which I didn't know that, but it's all over the internets after the episode aired because I guess everyone is like really impressed that Ben has a family friend who also happens to be a top star chef, which is, I guess, kind of cool. I wonder if she makes them cool food. Yeah, so she was the one who was like, you love her. That was Antonia. Ben's sister was the first one. They showed her talking to Tayshia, and then she was saying that he isn't hiding or lying about anything. He just has guards up from past experiences, past hurt in his life. And then they show Ben sitting with Antonia. I'm sure they also showed him talking with his sister. For some reason, I didn't take note of it. But he sits down with Antonia and says he feels happiness, that he's impressed how Tayshia makes him a better person. He says he had never felt so strong about someone before. He doesn't know if he loves her. And he had to be told by Antonia, and she was like, you love her. And he was like, what? And then all of a sudden he was like, yes, I guess I do love her. So, you know, there's the thing again with Ben and the emotions, because then he had this whole big thing on the side where he was like, you know, I feel like emotions and stuff, but I didn't know it was love, but, you know, I guess it is love. Like, he has to be told that the things that he's feeling is love. He's like, I feel like this kind of way. And I'm like, yeah, that's what love is. He's like, really? Are you sure? You're trying to get me.
Then he said he was going to tell her after.
Yeah, he was like, he left the whole thing like all excited. He's like, oh my God, I'm in love with her. I have to tell her. And then after all that, he goes and sits down with her, smiling ear to ear, so excited. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to have his moment. And he just sits there and says, everything was great. Good night. What the hell, Ben?
She didn't even kiss him.
Tayshia was so disappointed.
Yeah, she was hoping to hear him say how he felt.
With the way that he was smiling, I feel like she was expecting it to come. Like, she was waiting for him to say that he loves her. Like, I feel like she felt like that's where they were at. And then because he could not articulate that, and all he was just saying was, oh yeah, you know, it was a good time. And she was like, really, that's it? It was just surface level good time, really? Like, that's all you got? And she was like very disappointed. And, you know, because like you said, she needs validation. She's not going to be the one to come out and say it. She's waiting for him to validate first that they're in the same place, and for him to say it, and then she would like, I think that if he would have said it, she would have said that she might not have said she loves him, but she would have said she is falling in love with him. I think. I think that I feel like there was a solid chance that Ben was going to certainly make it to Fantasy Suites until what happened after the hometown date. She was expecting something, she didn't get it, and then she realized that she needed to send him home, because at that point that was like the last straw for her of him not being able to express emotions to her. And from there she was just like, I guess, you know, we're not at the place that I thought we were. You're not at the same place that I am. She's further ahead, or she thinks that she's further ahead than he is. She's really not. He just doesn't know how to, you know, express his emotions.
I don't know. It's like, why? I guess his sister. Why did his sister have to tell her that he's not hiding anything or lying about anything?
Because
that
Tayshia
was like a big, like, what?
Because Tayshia said that she has, you know, that she kind of has issues with him like opening up and stuff like that. So she's just reassuring her that it's not that he's hiding something, it's just that he has a guard up. That's the reason why he's having issues opening up to her.
I don't know. I think I don't know what happened to him in his life, or what happened to him when he was in the service. Something happened to him that just, I feel like he's just walking around numb. That's how I feel. I feel like he's numb. Like he is just living day to day in numbness. And that's why he can't cry. He can't show emotion. It's like he can't feel. He wants to feel. He wants to have emotion. But I feel like he's just walking around numb. It's sad.
Yeah, I liked him.
I did too.
I thought they had a good chance.
No, I never thought they did. I think
they did.
I think she was hoping that they did, but talking to him is like pulling teeth. What kind of conversation is that for her?
That's what she was saying.
She needs to have that intelligent conversations. She needs to have someone who's going to be just as strong as she is.
Yeah,
she doesn't like taking care of people. She likes being there for them, but she needs someone that's going to stand beside her and not in her arms. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Unfortunately, with Ben going home, I don't foresee any ending here that is going to be long lasting or anything. I don't. Where I foresee it going is not a engagement, happy ending scenario.
I mean, I hope she gets
in
her
my
engagement,
opinion,
but I don't see an engagement.
Not with these specific men.
No,
I don't see it. And I don't think it's a fault of her or the guys or anything. I think it's also a fault of the situation that they were put into and the fact that she missed out on the first 4 weeks and she wasn't given a true opportunity to go as
really
deep
connect.
as she could have been with a lot of these relationships.
Yeah, I think there could have been potential connections with other people that were missed out on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So Ben was the last date. After that, there was a rose ceremony, and Brendan came in with a turtleneck. I don't know what he was thinking, but he came in again with a turtleneck in the heat, long sleeve suit. I don't know why he's doing this to himself. Ben walked up, and the first thing he said was, "Chris, I love Tayshia," and yet he could not tell Tayshia.
Nope.
He could tell everybody but Tayshia that he loves her. So
I don't think he does.
Then in the rose ceremony, obviously she sends Ben home, and our final 3 are Ivan, Zach, and Brendan.
Yep.
And I was like, no, bring Ben back.
That wasn't gonna go anywhere. She would have to be
That's
the ruler
your
of that.
personal opinion.
She would have had to been the ruler of that relationship.
My personal opinion is it could have worked if Ben would change.
Here's the thing. I felt like Ben was like this person who just starts a new job, and they're like, okay, so you got to call these people. And they're like, oh my God, I got to call these people. I don't know if I can call these people. And then all of a sudden you get this coaching with someone who's like, yeah, you can do it. You got it in you to do it. You were meant to do this job. And then that person is like, yeah, I was meant to do this job. I can do it. Then you get to the phone and you're like, I got the list of people right here. I got the phone. I'm dialing the phone. And then I go, shit, I can't do it. The first person.
I was going to say, no, this is what happened to Ben. He had that.
That's what happened to him.
This is what happened to Ben. He had that exact scenario. He was hyped up. He made the first call. That person cursed him out and ruined his whole day. And now he's never going to do it again. He was like, you know what? I learned my lesson.
I feel like he walked up to Tayshia and he was like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. He dialed. And then as soon as the phone rang, he's like, can't do it. We had a great time. Bye.
Right? I don't know. Ben gives me vibes of somebody.
He's like, I can't do it.
Ben gives me vibes of somebody who's like tried in many situations and really cared and then got let down. And he's just like, at this point, I just have no cares left. I can't, you know what? At this point, nothing phases me.
I think he's afraid of rejection.
Isn't everybody? Everybody's afraid of rejection.
I'm not afraid of rejection.
Whether you admit it or not, you're afraid of rejection.
Not afraid of rejection.
Half the time when you don't do things that you could do, it's because you're afraid of failure. Whether you want to admit it or not.
I mean, failure is one thing, but rejection is another thing.
Same difference. Rejection is failure.
No, it's not.
If you're rejected, you failed. If you go to an interview and you're rejected from the position,
that doesn't mean you failed. No.
Well, you failed in that specific endeavor.
Those are two different things.
In that specific endeavor, you failed.
Those are two different
Well,
things.
you didn't succeed.
But you went in there and you tried. That's not failure.
What's wrong with failing?
Well, if you went in there and tried, you weren't afraid no.
If I take a test and I did my best and I got an F, I still failed.
No.
Doesn't mean you didn't try.
Rejection has nothing to do with failure at all.
If I put in an application to university and I get rejected, I failed at trying to get into that university.
You were not afraid of rejection because you put in that application. People that are afraid of rejection don't even start. So that's two different things.
After a certain amount of time, you just stop applying, because you're like, oh,
when a
no
person
point.
is afraid of rejection, they don't even apply.
Well, eventually you stop applying.
No. That's just, you get tired of hearing no. That's not fear of rejection. That's just being tired
you're going to
of
get rejected.
No.
So I don't know. You're like, well,
That's like
tired of hearing no, failure,
things.
Rejection, same difference.
No, it's not the same.
Whatever. Agree to disagree.
There are people that fear rejection and won't do anything.
I fear rejection.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I fear failure. That's why I don't do certain things.
You're so confused.
Oh, well, why do something if you're just going to not succeed? It's the same thing.
Then you would never do anything at all.
Well, what was the last thing I did?
Gee, I don't know. If you want to put it out there in the air, you're about to close some deals. So I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll
so
see.
Obviously, you're not afraid of rejection and you're not afraid to fail. Because people that are afraid of rejection never try, and people that are scared to fail never do anything.
You can be afraid of failure in certain things, not everything.
No.
I'm not afraid I'm going to fail at cooking. I'd cook it anyways. That's a whole different scenario than like maybe doing something else.
I'm not afraid of failure, and I'm not afraid of rejection.
Congratulations.
The most that can happen is you say no, and for every no there's a yes.
That you're not.
And I just keep going.
Congratulations to you that you're not afraid of failure.
Nope.
Here's your award. Here's your trophy.
Oh, thank you. I've always wanted a salt lamp.
You're welcome. Give a speech.
I just like to thank all my fans for giving me that support that I've always needed, for giving me the coachings that I need. Because I know, that I can succeed, because
love it.
Failure means success. Thank you. I'll put it on my desk.
Now lick your fingers because it's salt.
No, thank you. I don't know what's on that salt other than salt.
Yeah, I think we got to the end of the episode, right? Was that it? Was that all that happened? We've only been talking for an hour.
I know.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, they really put light on Zach's mom for being a big bachelor. What? For being a big Bachelor fan and a Chris Harrison fan. And Chris Harrison went out of his way to go say a hi to her. And then I love how he was like, you know what? I have some shocking news and everything is about to change. And they're all looking at him like,
what? What's about to change? Tell me.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
That would be me. Every time I walk in, I'd be like, all right, guys, you are not going to like what I have to say. And then you're going to look at me and I'll be like, I'm just kidding.
I know.
I have a date card. Yo, they would hate me.
I know. I have a date card.
I think sometimes he has fun with it. Like when he was talking to Claire, right before the Dale proposal, and Chris was talking to her, and he kept making it sound like he was about to say, and Dale's not coming. And then he stood there, he was like, I just want you to know that we're proud of you, for coming here, and you really put your heart out there, and
and Dale's
it could go anyway, and and she's like waiting for him to say that Dale's not coming. He's like, and I just want you to know that good luck. She's like, really? Like, really?
I'm up here sweating. And
yo, he loves doing that stuff now.
Yeah,
he's like, oh my God, please let me know that I can like go and just like really mess with someone right now.
He likes grabbing people by the balls.
I'm like convinced that he sabotaged Ed to come to his room to have that moment. I don't know. Somebody sabotaged him.
Somebody did sabotage him.
That's so funny.
Whoever went to her room sabotaged them.
That was my favorite. That was Ben.
They told him, oh, her room is all the way over there. And then he's like,
JK.
This is my room. Why would you come here looking for her?
Hi, guys. I just want you to know that, you've come so far in your journey, and, you've really put your heart out there. And we really see that you've, developed a connection, and, you're really opening up, and it's really great to see. And Oh, well, that's it. Have a great day. He was like, what, really? That's it?
Yeah,
oh, hey, guys, just coming in because I have something really important that I need to tell you all. And, you know, I really hope that this doesn't, you know, mess up the time that you guys have had here and everything and all that. But we just wanted to let you know that the kitchen started closing at 8. So just be aware of that. They're like, really? You had us on edge thinking that it was going to be something serious. That would be me.
I know.
They were like, what do you want now?
Like, serious.
Okay.
Seriously?
Man, he must have been having a ball with Claire's season and all the hoops he kept
real.
getting to throw at people.
For real.
And they're like, you ready for this one? Get ready to duck. Boom.
Psych.
Just kidding. That was it. That's all we have. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast.
Seriously.
Cue the sad music.
Dun, dun,
Goodbye,
dun,
Ben.
dun, dun.
We'll
oh no, that's
miss
happy birthday.
you. Yeah. Why are you singing happy birthday? Okay, that's not sad music. Well, I mean, unless you get sad at the fact that it's your birthday and you're older.
What is that? What is that?
song? What? Really? You sat there and went
funerals and stuff, like when somebody dies.
Really,
or
Mom?
something.
Be like, hey, what was that? What's that song? Really?
It's like I can't.
Oh my
think
God!
of that.
Somebody
That
typed in a
too.
message into like, I don't know if it was like Reddit or something like that, and they typed it in, and they were like, "What's that? What's this song that goes dee 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 doo doo dee da boop bop dee 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 doo 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 dee dee dee"? Anybody know this song?
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yes. And someone's like, "Yeah. Oh no, I think it goes dee dee doo doo doo."
Oh my God!
You know that song?
I would have went on there and go, no, it goes like this. Dee 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 dee
Like,
dee.
no, you got the wrong beat. It's not that. No, that's this other song. I'm talking about this song. Dee 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 doo dee 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 dee.
Can you imagine a conversation like that? And then there's like this whole stream going.
I know. They're just like,
No, I think you guys are confused. You guys are talking about the one that
Oh
goes.
my God, let's start it. Let's please start us. Let's please start a post or the main
I know,
post just
right?
goes, what's the song that goes dee 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 doo 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 dee 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 doo doo dee dee dee, and then we just had a whole thing of like people correcting the first person who posted it. That would be hilarious. I would die. Funny stuff.
Every time somebody comments, I would be dying.
Yeah, so please take out a life insurance policy on me because I'm gonna be dead.
Whatever. Don't do that.
I know you got one. Take one out in secret. I'm just kidding. Always talking about Gerber for a reason.
Oh my God.
Life insurance policy. Did you know that you could take a life insurance policy?
Oh
I'm just kidding. I'm not
my
gonna tell anybody to take out a
gosh.
life insurance policy on somebody without their knowledge. That looks extremely shady. Just saying, because if anything happens to that person, now you're gonna be like suspect number one, whether you did it or not.
Mhm.
Moving on, the preview for the next episode. It looks like things are gonna get crazy.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a good time.
Mhm.
Maybe she picks Brendan. I don't know. Everything I
Man,
thought.
that boy is not ready.
Everything I thought went out the window. I don't know what to think anymore. We don't know what's happening.
Every time I look at
But
Brendan,
we're
he looks
along
like
for
a
the
chicken with his
ride.
head cut off.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening, but we're along for the ride.
Yeah.
Should I finish watching the season or should I just stop watching it?
Oh,
and
hell
just
no.
not-
Hell no.
What?
I'm finishing it to the end. I did not come this far to be shut out.
Right. So yeah, that wraps
Due
up
to
this-
unforeseen circumstances, we are not going to be showing the remainder of The
Excuse
Bachelorette.
me?
Excuse me?
Excuse me? All right, let's talk about Selena the series.
No.
You know, you have a lot of opinions.
Hell no.
I was like, let's talk about Selena the series because I'm obsessed with it.
I haven't
but not
finished
really.
it.
What? You haven't finished it?
No, I just watched one
I finished that
episode.
thing in 2 days. Just
I
saying.
just watched one episode. It
Wow.
was so long I didn't know if I wanted to watch the
What?
second
The
one.
episodes are not that long. They're only like 40.
The first one was long.
No, they're only like 40 minutes, I think.
Oh my God. It felt like 2 hours.
Wow.
It felt
That
like
says
I
a
watched
lot.
a movie.
We know how she feels about the show now. She's like,
I felt like I watched a movie.
No, they're only like 40 episodes. They're
I
only
like
like 40 minutes.
I don't-
Apparently, it's like a mini series. There's only going to be like
Mhm.
2 seasons.
I don't know. I felt like a lot of moments I kept going back to the movie. And
I
I just
know.
kept
I
seeing
feel
Jennifer
like-
Lopez
I feel like
instead of
every
the
time.
actress now.
Right? I feel like every time I watch it, I'm like, I just want to
I'm
watch
like,
that.
J-Lo.
Every time I watch Selena the series, I just want to watch Selena the movie.
I know, right?
And then I start going through YouTube and pulling up old videos of real Selena performances. I'm like, oh my God, I want to watch the real Selena.
Actually went
so then I start going on.
Listen, I actually went on and I was looking at all her interviews, and it's so creepy how Jennifer Lopez, like,
she pegged it, man.
It was like, you can't distinguish the two. Like, some of the interviews, I was looking like, is that really Selena? Selena.
Yes,
Selena.
Yes. Selenas.
It's actually Selena.
Yeah.
She said that in a video. Somebody said Selena, and she was like, well, it's actually Selena, but everybody just calls me Selena, so I just leave it like that.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like,
she's like, it's Selena.
I knew it was Selena.
She's like, it's Selena. Like I was like, but everybody says Selena. She's like,
yeah, everybody
Selena.
does, but it's Selena. So she's like, I expect you to say Selena because you know me.
Hey, she's an Aries.
Really?
Yeah, she's an Aries, born only 2 days after me, April 16th.
That is so weird.
Yep.
All these Aries.
Aries vibes. Aries ruling the world.
No wonder you love her.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah, if you would have been old enough, you would have had like the dolls, the CDs. Because I think you would have been so obsessed with her and her music and how she was.
Yeah, I would have been a fan of her.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're totally a fan of her.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, I am a fan of her now, but
ever since you saw the movie, you've been a fan of hers.
R.I.P. Selena. Well, I love her movie. It's so like inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes you feel like you can do anything.
She was so pro young girls, and
she was so.
It's like so cool.
She was very kind, and you know, always authentic to herself, and cool and Aries vibes.
Yep. She was. And she was humble.
She was very humble.
No matter how big she made it, she was humble.
And talented. And she had an amazing voice.
Mm-hmm.
I could listen to her sing anything.
No matter where she went.
She could like sing and like curse you out, and you would and you would be like, sing it one more time, please.
I know, right? And everywhere she went, she always found time to sign those books. She never ever like was like, oh, I don't got time for it, or just kept walking like.
Yeah, she was never a diva.
No, not at all. And she loved whenever she went that her fans would be like, oh my God, Selena, sign this, Selena. And she's like, oh my God, they're my fans.
Yeah.
And then she would sign things for them. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Selena is how I would be. She's
very humble.
Selena is how I would be if I was her.
And everybody says she was really fun to be around.
Yeah.
So nobody ever said that she was like Miss Diva.
She didn't take herself seriously.
Yeah. Nobody ever said that she was a diva and she acted one way in front of the camera and another way behind the camera. No. Even when she did her videos, they were always like, Selena, take it serious. We got to shoot this. She's like, I know. And then she would start doing funny stuff.
I got you.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Off topic.
Oh yeah.
Off topic for the Bachelorette is Selena. We could talk Selena all day.
Moving on. So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Today's Off Tangent is brought to you by Selena the series on Netflix because, you know, that's what made me go off that tangent.
Yes.
We hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. We'll be back next week with another podcast.
Boop, boop.
Why do I always say podcast like that? Podcast. I don't know why. Yeah, we'll be back with another podcast. Yeah, I just did it again. I can't stop it. It can't be stopped.
Podcast.
It sounds like Acme. Acme. Yeah, another podcast next week. Yeah, we'll be back again.
Oh, 2 episodes next week.
I'm a soprano. Oh, yeah, there's 2 episodes next week again.
Yeah.
Is it the finale?
Yeah. Monday and Tuesday.
Whoa, deja vu. We had this exact conversation yesterday. I was like, oh, is it the finale?
It is the fantasy suite.
Yeah, woohoo, woo woo. So we'll see what happens. It'll be a good time. Make sure that you tune in because it'll be a good time. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast and that you follow us and everything so you can be notified every time that we post a new podcast episode. We post podcast episodes every week. Excuse my misspeaking. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. What else was I saying? Yeah, that's it. What are we going to talk about when The Bachelorette's over?
We'll
Gonna have to find something new.
Mm-hmm. Unless
send me
somebody wants to
suggestions.
make suggestion.
Send me
Sheesh.
suggestions.
I can't speak.
I'm gonna go live on You Now, and then people can just talk to me and give me suggestions. I don't know. Anyways,
yes,
we hope that we hope that you're staying safe, happy, and healthy, and manifesting everything you desire out of life.
Amen. Or men.